The Chevrolet Tahoe has been around since 1995 and is proven to be one of the best full-size SUVs for families and for carrying around many people at a time comfortably. The Tahoe has been refreshed for the 2025 model year, and with that, the prices have risen, especially for the High Country model, which can get close to $100,000. This 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe High Country would be a great choice for families looking to own a nice car but also save money. So is this a good choice in late 2025? Let's go ahead and find out. Before we begin, let's start by talking about the pricing and the trim level. The 2021 Tahoe came in 6 different trim levels, starting at $49,000 for the base model LS and $70,000 for the range-topping and luxurious High Country. If you chose all the options, it would come out to about $80,000, but this model's only option are the all-weather floor mats. After taxes and destination, this one was about $72,000 brand new. So what did you get for the money? Let's go ahead and dive right in. The Tahoe has a bold and commanding presence. Up front, you get a large chrome grille with the Chevrolet bow tie and High Country branding. There's some fake ventilation at the bottom and real functional vents underneath the headlights. Speaking of the headlights, you will find fully LED headlights as standard equipment on the Tahoe. They are going to be fully LED with an LED daytime running light, reflective style LED headlamps, but no fog lights at the bottom. That is a new feature that they added for 2025. They also added standard animations for the refresh. Moving to the side, the High Country Tahoe gets these 22-inch wheels as standard equipment. These are absolutely beautiful and very fitting for the High Country model with all the chrome and bling that you would find on the exterior. Of course, you can get other wheel options and up to 24-inch wheels on the 2026 Tahoe, but I think these are plenty big. At the side, you will find fixed running boards at the bottom, which can be powered if you pay extra, and Tahoe and High Country branding are finished in chrome. There is also chrome around the door handles and around the windows, which is very nice attention to detail. The mirrors have standard heating, blind spot monitoring, auto dimming, and power folding. The auto dimming is exclusive to the High Country, which is very nice, and I really like the two-tone design they have going on. At the back, you can see that Chevrolet kept it simple. You will find chrome trim in the Chevrolet bow tie as well as Tahoe branding and quad exhaust ports at the bottom. The taillights are fully incandescent. You will get an incandescent brake light, an incandescent reverse light, and an incandescent turn signal. This was kind of unfortunate to see, especially because this car was about $70,000 brand new in 2021. For 2025, Chevrolet made these taillights fully LED and they added animations and sequential turn signals. If you need fully LED taillights, swing for the Yukon or Escalade. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the interior and see where the High Country really shines. The High Country model really elevates your interior experience compared to the lower trim levels, but keep in mind it is no Cadillac Escalade or Yukon Denali. Starting with the door panel, you will find stitched leather, open portal trim, and aluminum on your upper part. Your switchgear is finished in gloss black with your 2-person memory seating, and there is some leather for your knee to rest against and for your armrest. There is plenty of storage space at the bottom as you would expect, and the fixed running board makes it very easy to get inside. There is also High Country branding on your tread plates. The seats are going to be made of real leather with High Country branding as well as contrast stitching and piping. They will include heating, ventilation, and 12 ways of power adjustment as standard equipment. Massaging is available on the Cadillac Escalade. Now let's take a look at the rest of the Chevrolet Tahoe's interior. The steering wheel is going to be very nicely leather wrapped and heated. You do not get paddle shifters, and this model does not have Super Cruise. But if you do have Super Cruise, there will be a light bar right here. You get some dark accenting right here. I think that is kind of a bronze-ish color. And there is no weather-covered airbag cover. That is reserved for the Escalade only. Additionally, the steering wheel is going to be power adjustable, and steering wheel heating is standard on the High Country. On the 2021 model, you do not get fully digital gauge clusters. There is a little screen in the middle that is customizable and actually shows a good amount of information. You can see your oil life, your tire pressure, your air filter life and brake pad life, and a whole bunch of other driver assistance things, and also a blank page if you want that. This setup is actually pretty nice, but if you want a more high-end gauge cluster system, go ahead and get something after this 2021 model year. Also on the 2026 Tahoes, you can do other things like have a full-screen Google Maps system. The High Country trim definitely impresses when it comes to materials. On the upper dash, you will find soft touch leatherettes, open portwood trim, a lot more leatherettes, and some aluminum trim. And on the center console, you will find some matte black plastic, and along the sides, you will find such leatherettes. Additionally, you will find some bronze accenting right here because this is the High Country model. When it comes to materials, the Tahoe also impresses in this area. Right here, you will find a wireless phone charging pad as well as 2 USB ports and 12-volt outlets. Behind that are 2 cup holders, and this is a good place to store your key fob. By the way, this is what it looks like, pretty typical GM design. You can pop the back glass and remote start the vehicle from the fob itself. Additionally, on the side, you will find a little cubby, and that is on both sides of the center console. And right here is a good place to store your phone, although it does not charge. In the center console, you will find a massive amount of storage space. First of all, there is this little tray that you can remove. It has plenty of space in there alone, and you also get 2 USB ports and a rubber lining. Also, if you want some more space and just a very cool feature to have in your Tahoe, you can option on a power sliding center console. Basically, this armrest portion will slide back, and you'll find some secret storage under there. I also cannot forget the fact that the door panels are absolutely enormous, and there's a sunglasses holder right here. So when you open this up, you'll find a pretty deep felt-lined area in there. And this is actually really nice because a lot of newer vehicles don't have sunglasses holders at all. So this is very nice that Chevrolet actually thought of that and put it right there. Climate controls are going to be physical buttons and knobs. I will admit this area is way too busy for my preference along with the area next to the steering wheel, but it still works. You can adjust the temperature by using these knobs right here. There is dual zone up front and 1 zone on the rear in every Tahoe. You will also find your controls for heated and ventilated seats. You can heat the backrest only, and you can also heat the bottom part and the backrest as well. You can also control your rear climate that will pop up right here on the main screen. You have your defroster controls, your AC on or off, and your different mode selections. This area is a little bit more simplified for the 2026 Tahoe. As far as the main infotainment system is concerned, you actually get a pretty nice setup on this 2021 Tahoe. This doesn't have the latest GM software with Google built in and all the latest graphics, but you still get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well as navigation built in. You also get a 10-speaker Bose sound system, which is standard on pretty much every single Tahoe. And if you don't want to touch the screen, you can use these knobs down here, and this button obviously will go back to your home, and this is your volume knob right here. These feel relatively high quality. There isn't really anything mind-blowing about the quality of these buttons, but I feel like they're not terrible. I was pretty surprised with the technology in this 2021 Tahoe, considering that this car is almost 5 years old. But I have to say GM is always on top of it when it comes to infotainment software. You guys probably have noticed this by now, but the shifter is located up here. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I have to say it works pretty well. By the way, the placement of the shifter is beautiful. You can just reach your hand over from the steering wheel and go right back. Pull the D for drive. You can manually shift through the 10 gears with these buttons right here. Push the N for neutral and pull the R for reverse. And that'll bring up a very high resolution backup camera. I have to say GM makes the highest resolution cameras in the auto industry. You have multiple different angles, which is amazing. You can also look at your wheels. These beautiful 22 inches so you don't scrape them on the curbs. And the parking sensors also work pretty well. Now they don't beep like they do in most cars, they actually vibrate your seats, which is actually a lot more effective. It gets your attention a lot more, and also it isn't annoying for the other passengers. That would seem to be the case for the other Tahoes, but as you can see, I am pulled right up to my tripod and this car isn't doing anything. I think this is a problem with this particular car because every other GM product I've been in, it actually worked. So I don't think you should be concerned, just make sure it works when you test drive a vehicle. With that aside, I have to say that GM has done a pretty good job with this camera system. Obviously there's active trajectory and you can go to the trailer view if you want to hook up a trailer. And the shifter, while it isn't everybody's favorite, it still works pretty well. Obviously, I prefer the column-mounted style that's on the 2026 Tahoe, where it's right here, but this actually works pretty well. Of course, to put it in park, just push the button. So this actually is kind of interesting because it doesn't beep when you go up to an obstacle. It will show a little graphic on the main screen and the gauge cluster, but it will vibrate your seats. That is going to be so much less annoying than a bunch of beeping, but it still gets your attention so much more somehow. If you are hard of hearing or anything like that, this is going to be so much more helpful. Overall, the parking sensors work pretty well, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Up top, you'll find a standard digital rear view mirror, some buttons for your roadside assistance. This button is for your trunk, and you can actually adjust how high the trunk goes with this knob right here. These buttons are to fold down your third row seats. And you can option on a panoramic sunroof, but this model does not have it. Now let's check out the passenger side on the Chevrolet Tahoe. Starting with the door panel, you will find plenty of storage space at the bottom, as well as your leather armrest and leather and wood trim at the top. There is High Country branding on the tread plates, and taking a look at the seats, these are pretty comfortable overall, and they have High Country branding in the headrest, as well as heating, ventilation, and 12 ways of power adjustments. There is a grab handle for easier entry, and for amenities, you will find a little storage cubby over there, as well as a lot of leather and wood trim to take a look at when you are sitting in the passenger side. In the glove box, you will find plenty of storage space, but there is no felt lining, which is kind of unfortunate. But in a large family vehicle like this Tahoe, the rear seats are very important, so let's go ahead and jump right into that. As expected, there is plenty of storage space on the door panel, but unfortunately, there are no sunshades. However, there is leather padding on your armrest, as well as leather and wood trim at the top. The fixed running boards and the grab handle make it pretty easy for kids to get inside, and taking a look at the seats, they are made of real leather and pretty comfortable overall. They have pretty thick armrests in the middle, and they're going to be heated. They can also slide and recline. In the back of the Tahoe, as expected, there is plenty of legroom and headroom. The back of the seat is going to be finished in leather, and you also get a pretty large seat back pockets. You can also get a rear entertainment system, which is obviously not equipped on today's model. With that, you could watch YouTube and Hulu. In the middle, you will find all of your amenities. There are 2 cup holders, a third zone of climate control, heated seat controls, USB-C ports, and 12-volt outlets. If you choose the rear entertainment package, you will get HDMI ports as well. The High Country model can be equipped as an 8-seater, but this model is a 7-seater. The second row offers plenty of space and lots of amenities, but let's go ahead and see if the third row is any good. To get into the third row, just pull on this lever twice. That will fold the seat up and out of the way, but the only downside is that you cannot have a car seat installed. In the third row of the Tahoe, there is plenty of legroom and headroom, even with the seats slid all the way back. You can also stretch out your leg in the middle because this car has captain's chairs. For amenities, you will find an armrest, a USB-C port, storage, and a cup holder. Most middle seats aren't comfortable, but that is not the case for the Tahoe at all. Let's go ahead and check out the trunk, but exiting the third row, you're just going to push on this button twice. To open up the trunk, you have a few different options. You can use the hands-free access by waving your foot underneath the car. You can use the button on the key fob, the button on the inside, or the button mounted on the back of the car. But regardless of how you open the trunk, there is a ton of space in there. You can even get more if you choose the long wheelbase Suburban. Behind the third row, you will find 25.5 cubic feet of space. That expands to 72.9 when you fold down the third row and 121 as a maximum. Some of those numbers are class fleeting, but they are all insane. If you want even more space, you can also get the Suburban. That will give you a minimum of 41 cubic feet behind the third row and 141 as a maximum. In the trunk, the Tahoe also has some nice features like a power outlet, a power folding third row, and a power release second row. Under the floor, there is a little bit of storage space, but I think it would be enough to get the job done. In case you need to quickly grab something out of the trunk, the rear glass of the Tahoe also opens up. That way you don't have to wait for the trunk to lift all the way up to get your stuff. To close the trunk, just push the button. Now let's see what is powering this Tahoe. The High Country model gets a 6.2-liter naturally aspirated V8 as standard equipment. That puts out 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. That is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, and this car gets 14 mpg in the city, 19 on the highway, and 16 combined. A 5.3-liter V8 and a 3-liter Duramax diesel engine is also available in other Tahoe models. These engine options are also shared with the Yukon and Escalade. People have come to know and love this engine from GM, and unfortunately, it is one of the last full-size SUVs with a V8. Now let's talk about what competes with the Tahoe. Since this car is so successful, it is not surprising that many other brands want to take this down as the sales king. This Tahoe competes with the Ford Expedition Platinum, the GMC Yukon Denali, the Toyota Sequoia Platinum, the Jeep Wagoneer Series 3, and the Nissan Armada Platinum. The vehicles that I just listed are very similar in price and size to this car. For dimensions, the Tahoe is 210 inches long and 81 inches wide. Well, that is going to wrap up this video on this 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe High Country. The Tahoe is easily one of the best full-size SUVs you can buy today. Even though the 2026 model offers more features and more advanced technology, this 2021 Tahoe still feels brand new and is barely aged. If you are looking to save a little money but still own a nice car with tons of space and features, the 2021 Chevrolet Tahoe is an amazing choice. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.